Welcome back to my channel. I feel like it's been a really long time since I did one of these videos. Here's a little backstory for those of you that may not know. I was away from home from February 16th to the 26th on vacation. I was in Toronto, and preparing for that, I had to pre-record a video before leaving so that I can have something while I'm away. And then when I got back from vacation, I had to take my MacBook in for service for an indefinite amount of time, so I quickly threw the clips I took in Toronto together to hold me over for that week. Thankfully, I got my MacBook back from the Apple Store this past weekend, so I can resume my normal video schedule. Yay! So yeah, for you guys, it may have seemed like I was doing a video every week, but for me, it's been forever since I sat down to record a video for you guys. It's actually been a month exactly, I think. And why I'm pointing this out is because of today's video topic, which is finding focus again after having taken a long break from your schedule. So when I got back from vacation, that first week after being back was a bit of a mess for me. I felt like I was almost starting from square one. And what I mean by that is I didn't have a plan or a schedule that I was coming back to. Before the Toronto trip, I had a sense of purpose. I had goals and I had a checklist where I had to check off all the things that I had to get done, which was, make an extra video for the week that I'll be away for and do extra studies that I can post on Instagram while I'm away so it doesn't look like I just disappeared. I had these tasks that I knew I had to do before the trip that kept me really busy and focused. But what I neglected to do was to plan out the few weeks after the trip so that there was something that I was coming back to and I wasn't going to spend a few days just wasting time trying to figure it out. But that's essentially what happened. I came back to nothing on the plate, nothing on the to-do list. I had a very vague idea that I wanted to do some oil paintings when I got back, but that's not enough. It's too vague of an idea. I'm not one of those people that is good at painting something totally out of the blue and coming up with good ideas spontaneously. I need to sit down, draw out a couple of ideas, and then do some thumbnails, and then, mull over it for a few hours and actually make the decision to commit to something. I wish I could be one of those people that could just paint and draw out of the blue randomly and have it look amazing, but I've just never been able to do that. So coming back from vacation to a complete blue sky, open-ended, no commitment, freedom basically. It was a very bad idea for me to do that to myself. For those of you that are familiar with my past videos, you know that I do struggle with indecisiveness and having too much freedom. It's the bane of the self-employed person. So I was floundering the week that I got back, and it didn't help that my friends and I were trying to apply for a bunch of anime and comic conventions, which, if you are familiar with that, it can be quite a stressful process. For example, we were applying for Anime North, which is notoriously one of the hardest conventions to apply to and get into. It's one of the rare local cons for me, it's in Toronto, or more like Etobicoke, and it's one of the biggest in North America. And I used to have a table there every year until it got really, really difficult. And ever since they changed to a lottery system, it just got pretty much impossible to get into unless you're really lucky. Anyway, my friends and I were scrambling to apply to this thing properly. I know it sounds really silly, but there's a lot of coordination that goes into applying to these conventions, and it's pretty high stress. So that ate into a lot of my time and just general headspace. And having to take my, work computer, my MacBook Pro in for repair didn't help because I didn't know how long it was gonna take the repair. But anyway, the repair took a week, so that's not so bad. I got it back now. But the point is that knowing that I was going to be without my work computer for, up to 2 weeks or even 3, who knows, that uncertainty messed me up in terms of scheduling. I didn't want to schedule out anything too complicated because I didn't know I was going to have my computer. And this little hiccup, which is really not a huge deal to most people, but for me it somehow is, it just added to all the distractions that I had when I came back. And I couldn't focus. I couldn't figure out what I needed to do in the next few weeks. I couldn't plan it out. So the first week that I was back, I sketched around in my sketchbook trying to come up with an idea to paint. And I at least knew I wanted to do an oil painting. I knew that much. But I'm learning that that's not enough for me to say I want to paint something and I want it to be good or I want it to be cool. I'm learning that that's not enough for me. I need some context. I need to know what I'm painting for and why this painting should exist, and if it exists within some kind of a series, if it has any kind of context. Setting out to do a painting just for the sake of painting, I'm learning for me is a huge time sink because I get paralyzed by the amount of possibilities there are. So I try to go back to some familiar things. I like to do portraits. Portraits are easy for me. Don't worry about having to pose the figure in some cool pose that is gonna take me forever to decide on anyway. Just stick with the portraits. And I've always wanted to do a little series of clown portraits. I know I'm not ready to do the series I have in my head, but what if I start small and use this as a way of practicing for the series that I'm planning on doing in the future? So now I had a clearer idea of what I wanted to paint. I wanted to paint little clown-inspired portraits. So I sketched out some thumbnails and I started on some 5x7 oil paintings. I've been kind of jumping around between the 3 because oil paintings take a while to dry, and if you want to layer on top, then you kind of have to wait until the layer underneath is dry. So I've been working on all 3 kind of at the same time. So unfortunately, you're not gonna see any of these pieces fully finished by the end because I'm not quite done with them. I would say they're about 90% there. I think by next week I will have finished them 100%, and also I plan on starting on a 4th one as soon as I'm done recording for this video, so hopefully I'm done that one by next week as well. As I was painting these oil paintings though, I was still feeling like I was directionless. First of all, I don't know if people are gonna like these paintings because they are kind of quirky and I guess a little different from my usual stuff that people have seen anyway. So I was insecure about how everyone would receive these paintings, and I was still floundering around at this point, still not sure if I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, not sure if I'm making the right investment with my time and energy. And when I feel like this, when I'm questioning everything that I'm doing, I get down. It's not a fun feeling to be so unsure of all your decisions. So as you can imagine, I was kind of dragging my heels around with everything, with all the decisions I'm making this painting. I was doing a stroke every 20 minutes, making every excuses to take breaks from the painting, to step away from the painting because, oh, the fumes are giving me a headache. And then, just a few days ago, a miracle happened. I got news that I got into Anime North Pro Plaza, which is just a fancy word for artist alley table, but you're not allowed to have fan art. And the restriction on fan art is what makes it easier for people to get into the Pro Plaza as opposed to the regular artist alley tables. The Anime North Artist Alley is notoriously extremely difficult to get into. It's like winning the lottery if you do. But lo and behold, I somehow got in, and this turned out to be a real blessing because it gave me purpose. It gave me a clear understanding of what I needed to do for the next few weeks that are coming up ahead in preparation for the convention. Having a clear picture of what my next few weeks are supposed to look like gave me the focus that I desperately needed. It seems crazy how one little shift in your mind makes such a difference. The decision to commit to this convention and knowing that I'm going to be going to this convention, that shift in mindset put all my indecisiveness and insecurities, well, not all of them, but a lot of them aside, and kicked me into gear, into let's get things done mode. Having a clear deadline in mind now gives me a time frame for when I should finish my paintings, and it just makes it so much easier to schedule everything. So that was all a very long-winded way of saying that I got into Anime North, and for those of you that are gonna go, I will see you guys there. I am very excited. I haven't done a convention since 2013, and a lot has happened and a lot has changed since 2013. Basically, my whole body of work is different. So I'm very, very nervous but excited to see what comes of it. I know I didn't get to say too much about the art because my talk ran a little long, but the 3 paintings you'll see in this video are all in oil, and I'm going for a retro look for all of them. And they're not 100% finished, but I hope to finish them up by next week. And hopefully you'll see this one finished next week as well. I plan on starting this one as soon as I'm done with editing and uploading this week's video. So with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's video. I am very happy to be back, and happier so to feel like I have a schedule again. Out of curiosity, which of these 3 paintings speaks to you the most? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!